Now. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Tim Randall from Links Magazines here in a half-cast, not quite sunny, not quite wet Tavistock, reporting from my kitchen table, as always. And today I'm with Robert Oxborough. Robert Oxborough is the director and owner of a local company in Tavistock called PCC Office Supplies Ltd. Based just at Pixon Lane, is it? Pixon Lane?
That's right, in Pixon Court, opposite Play Planet.
So, hello, Robert. How are you?
Right, well, I'm very well, Tim. Thank you very much indeed. That's good.
We're going to talk about PPE, but we're going to talk about some other things as well. But really, for anybody who has a shop or a business that is currently thinking about gearing up their business to be safe and secure for customers, or whether you're actually an individual, people like me, someone who's walking around the town or whatever, and doesn't know where to get PPE from. Really, both those parties, whether you're an individual or a business, you should really listen to this interview because I think you're going to get something out of this. So, Robert, tell us a little bit about your business first of all, very briefly, and then we'll get on to the important subject of PPE.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, PCC Office Supplies started life as many office supplies dealers, just by simply trading from UK wholesale supply and supplying local trade customers, local businesses, with a few supplies also going out to retail customers, mainly ink cartridges. PCC actually stands for printer cartridges and consumables, which is where the origin of the business lay in supplying those particular types of products. But over the years, I had to diversify, and an opportunity came along in 2012 to represent the world's largest stationery manufacturer here in the UK as their sole agent. That's a company called Mmg Stationery. Now, Mmg are unusual because they manufacture for a lot of other big brand names. A lot of names in the high street are product that Mmg have manufactured. Right. Disney, for example, is one of the names they manufacture for. A lot of the franchise stationery, Snoopy, Barbie, and Scooby-Doo, all that kind of stuff, they manufacture that for them. Right. The children's brand Miffy, they're the licensed manufacturers of that in the Far East. So they clearly have, some premium production facilities behind them and a very, very strict quality control system. So from 2012 onwards, I've been bringing their product into the UK, which is a very crowded market space with stationery, very difficult to penetrate, but nevertheless made some progress and got some very good wholesale customers in the education arena particularly. So Kent County Supply is one of my big customers, as are Hampshire and Hertfordshire education authorities. So the Mmg products go through me to those distribution channels into schools. But at the other end of the spectrum, of course, is supplying directly to schools themselves. And I've supplied local schools and other schools around the country direct with product. Right. So it's been quite a useful addition to the tool set, if you like.
Okay.
So there is another company that I look after, which is based in Europe, in the Czech Republic, and they're Centropen. And Centropen have got a very long history. They go back over 100 years. And the company actually survived the Second World War. But the owners had to buy the company back from the States at the end of the Second World War because it was sequestered when the Nazis took over, which is kind of sounds a little bit unfair. But they now have the company back in their own hands, and it's thriving. And so we bring their product in as well, and again a range of items there.
Okay, so the upshot of all of this is, Robert, that you have access to some very important equipment that we all are looking for now. So businesses, as we talk in a lot of shops, etc., in the town, are gearing up to open on the 15th of June. Some businesses we know opened on the 1st of June, and some businesses actually haven't stopped. I mean, I've been interviewing plumbers, etc., and various different local companies who literally, for emergencies at least, have been going right the way through lockdown and helping people out. So tell us a little bit about the PPE side of your business now, that what you have access to and what you're willing to do for people in the town.
Yeah. Well, I saw the whole market for PPE explode back at the beginning of March, before the lockdown came along. But then as the lockdown really did bite hard, that market did grow massively. A lot of traffic through my trade contacts, and as a result of keeping my eyes and ears open. I've got a very close association with another local company who do all the purchasing. I obtain my stocks through them, but it means that I've got a local source of product that I can now move into the market in Tavistock. The main issue that really has irritated me is the way that prices have been hiked, and that a lot of people are just simply looking at this as a cash cow and as a profit margin tree. And to me, that seems to be the wrong approach to be taking at a time like this when people are dying. This stuff is there to save people's lives, protect people's lives, and I find it very hard to profit excessively from that marketplace. So for that reason, I have one price for everything. I'm not going to make more money just because I'm selling it to a member of the public as I'm selling it to somebody who wants to wear a mask in their business. It makes no difference. I've kept my margin low just to cover my costs. I still have rent to pay. I still have business overheads to cover, and it's really just about that. So it's one price for the general public if they shop with me. It's one, and the same price for local businesses if they need it to operate their stores and their businesses.
Excellent, and that is a good thing, because you are a wholesaler. You do supply businesses in the main, but for someone like me who maybe I can't get hold of a mask, or I don't know where to get a certain item from, the fact that I can buy from you as well, I think is brilliant, because where do I go? I mean, who do I approach for this stuff? So why don't you take us through what you're able to supply the general public and all businesses?
Yeah, well, we've got access to all grades of masks. Now, of course, general public wouldn't require the highest grade of medical mask, and it's better that they don't use those because they need to be focused on the medical services themselves. But they're there in the mix if there are exceptional circumstances where people require them. But they also happen to be the most expensive products, of course, because they are very, very high grade. We then have the stand all the way down to the standard 3-ply masks that we often see people wearing in the street. They provide a measure of protection. They probably cut out 70% of viral transmission, which is not bad at all. So if you've got 2 people wearing them, 70% cut from the person emitting a virus, and a 70% further reduction from the person inhaling it is probably not enough to cause the infection. So in my view, they're worth using, certainly worth using. And of course, a lot of people have got their own homemade masks, and they can be just as effective so long as there's a suitable barrier in any form of pocket internally. And the Tavi Scrub Hub, of course, have been majoring on producing these things, and I've helped support those during the lockdown period with materials and helping them with purchasing in order to sort of fund and enable them to do what they do. So there are different ways of achieving that. Of course, the other items that businesses would require would be tapes to mark social distancing on floors and so on, screens. If anybody requires visors, the clear sort of perspex type visors, we can provide those. And the other big one, of course, is hand sanitizer. We're taking orders for hand sanitizer already. The product which we're using is isopropyl alcohol. The reason why I prefer that to the ethanol approach is that IPA is a little bit gentler on the hands. So if somebody does suffer from any form of dermatological problem, then it's less likely to cause further irritation.
Right.
We have access to that in different sizes, from 65 ml, 250, 500 ml, depending, and 5 litre for businesses that need to refill containers. Yes,
brilliant. Okay, anything else? Any other products?
Well, those are the main PPE items that would be required. But of course, in medical terms, we can provide gowns and things of that nature as well. But again, that's not something which is likely to be a requirement for the general public or a typical business operating in the high street.
And
it's there that we have it.
This is my ignorance now, but I have no appreciation of costs for these things. So, I mean, if you go to the sort of high grade medical mask and then look at the more standard, what kind of prices are they? I mean, what do they come out at?
Well, the top grade medical equipment is in the region of £6 to £7 a mask. Very, very expensive. The standard 3-ply, if they're certified, then they're going to be a little bit more expensive than the non-certified. Non-certified, you'll pick those up for sort of 50, 60, 70 pence, something like that. And the certified masks, they're going to be £1 and £1 plus
Right.
for those. Then you've got those that have got little respirator valves in them. The ones that I sort of bought in early on, and which my wife has used and which I use when I'm out and about, is a type that's got a carbon filter built in and a small sort of a respirator vent, so that it actually filters air going in and coming out. So it's a slightly higher grade. But those I think I bought those in originally at £3 something each. So they're not the cheapest on the planet. But the great thing about them is if you dry them out properly, then they can be reused.
Right. Forgive me a second. I'm just going to plug my laptop in. There we go. Sorry, Robert. It's either the dogs start barking or my battery about to run out. Good. So, okay. So those are the prices. Now, how do people get hold of you? Because we hope that this video is going to be viewed by lots of people. So, just to reiterate, and not to really to hammer it home, as we speak, there are many businesses out there scratching their heads, thinking, how do I make my business safe? Either because they need to put tape on the ground, put plastic screens in, or wear visors, or wear masks, or wear gloves, etc. And there are lots of businesses that want to open safely. They can contact you, but I can contact you. Mrs. Jones from Acacia Avenue can contact you. So how do we contact you then? How do we get hold of you so that we can buy this stuff?
Okay. Well, first of all, for those people that have access to email, that's a very, very simple way.
Yeah.
And that's a simple email address, which is sales@PCCOfficeSupplies.com.
Right.
So and we've already had members of the general public ordering through that email address already.
Let me just repeat that. Sales@PCCOfficeSupplies.com.
That's right. It's Papa Charlie Charlie. Sometimes people miss out one of those C's, and that doesn't work then. So it's Papa Charlie Charlie OfficeSupplies.com. Yeah.
So that's the easy way. That's email. Is there a telephone number that people can call?
There is. That's 01822 619 639.
619 639.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And right, what else do we need to talk about?
Well, the other factor, of course, is I have touched base with Jana at the Tavistock bid.
Yes.
And she is now aware that I've got access to this range of kit, gloves, aprons, masks, and so on, sanitizers. And so the business community can centralise orders through Jana. And in honesty, centralised orders are good because it may mean that I can get better pricing. And if I can get better pricing, then that will be passed on to everybody that buys. And it's not a case of get a better price and take more for me. It's not going to work that way. That's just not my style. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. So for businesses out there, if you're part of the bid, if you're a levy payer for the bid, then go through Jana and order that way, because there may be further savings to be had from a sort of a collective.
Yeah, a consolidation. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. But again, as far as I'm concerned, or Mrs. Jones from Acacia Avenue, she can use your email or call you. And
make a big call. Yeah.
And you're based, of course, as we said at the very beginning, right in the centre of Tavistock. So you're not miles away from anyone in West Devon, Dartmoor, West Devon, or North Plymouth, etc. in that area.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I drove out to Yelverton to drop some stock off to a member of the public there. It's not a question of them having to come to pick it up. There are obvious question marks around the sensibility of that, given the nature of the disease we're dealing with. It's perhaps easier for me to, in a lot of cases, just to simply drop it off at people's houses,
Right.
rather than them have to make the trouble to come and fetch.
Fantastic.
We'll see how volumes go. There'll be a limit to how many deliveries I can do on a day. So maybe we have to come up with some sort of distribution system in downstream. But it's about being flexible, playing it by ear and being flexible.
Good, brilliant. Well, Robert, I don't think there's anything more we need to say other than that. So thank you very much for your time. It's brilliant to talk to you. We'll have another chat at the end now in a moment. But for now, so this is Tim Rand.
Can I just say one final thing, Tim? And this is really quite important, and that is that prices are still very volatile.
Right.
For people that think, why is everything costing more than it used to before, is because the supply chain has essentially hiked prices.
Right.
Those price hikes have stopped at where I am, But take, for example, the international couriers have put a 15% COVID surcharge on air freight. And with a lot of this kit being flown in from overseas, it means straight away we've got an increase in cost price, and that has to be passed on.
Right.
It's passing through 2 or 3 hands, and everybody's putting a little bit of margin on. In some cases, some people are putting a lot of margin on.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, sure.
So prices are volatile. Supply and demand is affecting costs. And so while I'll do the best I can to try and supply at a fixed price, that may have to flex depending upon how prices change as we go forward. It may even improve. I mean, I'm hoping it will, but we'll do what we can.
All right, brilliant. Okay, thanks, Robert. Okay, so Links Magazine's Tim Randall, another video. We've got all our videos that we've done with local businesses and local community groups. They're all housed. They're all available on our dartmoorlinks.co.uk website, so you can go and view them there. And we've interviewed some really interesting local community groups and businesses, and of course, including Robert. So thanks very much for watching and for listening, and we'll see you soon with another interview. So thanks very much. Bye-bye now.